You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 20th of November. Strengthening Caribbean ties, PM Modi arrives in Guyana for bilateral talks and CARICOM summit. Imran okays talks with Pakistan government on PTI's terms. And Bangladesh to finalize ICT ordinance amendment for trial of political parties. All the details. Concluding his engagements at the G20 summit in Brazil, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Guyana on Tuesday for the final leg of his three-nation tour. This marks the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to the Caribbean nation in several decades. In a rare and warm gesture, Prime Minister Modi was personally received by Guyanese Prime Minister Mohamed Irfan Ali and more than a dozen cabinet ministers. During his visit, Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to hold bilateral talks with President Ali and participate in the second CARICOM India Summit. He will meet leaders of CARICOM member countries to bolster India's enduring partnership with the Caribbean region. The visit will also see Prime Minister Modi being honored with the highest national awards of Guyana, Barbados and Dominica conferred by the leaders of the respective countries during the CARICOM Summit. Additionally, he is set to address members of the Indian diaspora before returning to New Delhi.
I think that we're all happy that we can have this opportunity to meet with Prime Minister Modi. It is a historic moment for most of us in CARICOM to be able to meet with and have the CARICOM India at the level of heads of government. The last time we met was on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, and this just speaks to the strength of the relationship between the two regions.
बहुत 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 प्राउड हूँ. इवन आई एम अ गुजराती, तो मुझे और ज़्यादा उन पे प्राउड फील होता है. हम सेम विलेज से हैं, तो वो एक अपने देश को कितना मतलब प्राउड फील करवा रहे हैं. हम बहुत एक्साइटेड है वो जब इधर आ रहे हैं उसकी वजह से.
Residents of India's Maharashtra and Jharkhand cast their votes for the provincial elections, marking a decisive phase in the political landscape of both states. In Maharashtra, the western Indian state conducted its election in a single phase with over 97 million eligible voters selecting 288 legislators. The state is witnessing a bipolar contest between the BJP-led Mahayuti alliance and the opposition-led Mahavikas Aghadi coalition. These elections are being viewed as the first major electoral battle between the NDA and the opposition India alliance.
मैं यही दोहराऊंगा वापस कि आइए वोट कीजिए, ये हमारी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. ECI का मैं आइकन हूँ, तो बहुत समय से मैं यही कह रहा हूँ, लोगों को यही दरख्वास्त कर रहा हूँ कि आइए वोट कीजिए, हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है.
In eastern Jharkhand, voters also exercised their franchisee during the final phase of the provincial election. While 43 constituencies went to the polls on November 13th, the remaining 38 constituencies voted on Wednesday. The Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Congress Rashtriya Janata Dal coalition is seeking to retain power, while the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance is striving to regain control. This election is crucial for incumbent Chief Minister Hemant Soren, who faces corruption allegations and is currently out on bail. The BJP has also accused him of aiding infiltration from Bangladesh. Votes for both state elections will be counted on November 23rd, setting the stage for the next political chapter in these regions. Pakistan's incarcerated former Prime Minister Imran Khan on Tuesday called on PTI leaders and ticket holders to disassociate themselves from the party if they could not participate in the power show, scheduled for 24th of November. He said that PTI lawmakers who got elected due to their party affiliation but don't stand with the ideology have no place in the party. Despite his call for protest, the PTI founder said he was still ready for dialogues and set 3 demands for calling off the upcoming protest, which includes the return of PTI's stolen mandate, reversal of the 26th constitutional amendment and the release of all political prisoners. Khan has been in jail for over a year now in multiple cases. A day after Pakistan shared evidence regarding the presence of TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and other terror groups operating from Afghan territory with Beijing, China's special representative for Afghanistan met with senior Pakistani officials to discuss relations with Afghanistan. China is one of the key allies of Afghanistan's interim government and have consistently expressed its support for peace and regional stability. Both sides exchanged views on relations with Afghanistan and reaffirmed the vital role of neighboring countries for a peaceful and stable Afghanistan. Taliban, however, has consistently denied Pakistan's allegations, asserting that no terror group are allowed to use Afghanistan's soil against any country. The involvement of China in these talks signals the international community's recognition of the deteriorating security situation in Afghanistan and its broader implications. The Bangladesh's interim government led by Muhammad Yunus is set to finalize a draft amendment to the International Crimes Tribunal Ordinance on Wednesday. The proposed amendment includes provisions for the trial of political parties accused of crimes against humanity. Under the amendment, if any political party is accused of such crimes and the court deems it necessary, the court will have the authority to recommend punitive measures to relevant authorities. However, these recommendations will not involve direct punishment by the court. They will refer to the appropriate bodies for further action. If the tribunal recommends punitive action against a political party, the implementing authorities would be the Home Ministry and the Election Commission. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi arrived in Kathmandu on Wednesday for a 5-day official visit aimed at strengthening military ties between the two countries. Continuing a 7-decade tradition of conferring honorary ranks on each other's army chiefs, General Dwivedi will be awarded the honorary rank of General of the Nepali Army by Nepal's President. During his visit, he is also scheduled to hold talks with his Nepali counterpart, General Ashok Raj Sigde, and meet Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Defence Minister Manbir Rai. This visit is seen as an effort to address concerns over the recruitment of Nepali domiciled Gorkha soldiers into the Indian Army under the Agnipath scheme. Gorkhas of Nepali origin have served in the Indian Army for decades under a tripartite agreement between India, Britain and Nepal. Currently, over 30,000 Gorkha soldiers from Nepal serve in 6 battalions of the Indian Army. However, the Nepal government had paused the recruitment of Nepali nationals after the introduction of the Agnipath policy. Under this scheme, soldiers are recruited for a tenure of 4 years with no pension benefits, a significant departure from the long-term service and pension provisions historically offered. The Nepal government has expressed concerns over the shorter service duration, which contrast with the extended terms traditionally served by Gorkha soldiers in both Indian and British armies. General Dwivedi's visit is expected to explore ways to resolve these differences while reinforcing the historic military ties between the two nations. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow.